What is up, Bird brothers and sisters? In the End Zone is in the building for a brand new segment that I wanted to bring to my channel. Since I always like to bring up that I'm in for the touchdown. Well, this is Touchdown Talk, a preview show for the upcoming matchup that we have on a weekly basis during the NFL regular season and, well, cross our fingers, playoffs if we even wanted to make the playoffs. Because we got three first round picks that we're holding on to, and the Dolphins, well, the Ravens kind of ruined that by bumping us up to 6 after that upset L they took. But through that, what's going on, everybody? Touchdown Talk episode 1, this time featuring J.C.
Yes.
Eagles Talk. He volunteered to come on here and get the first episode out of the way. JC, I appreciate you bringing in the new show on my channel. We got some offense to break down for the Eagles because, yeah, let's not overlook the Denver Broncos. Appears that they have
No
the
way.
second best ranked defense in the NFL, and we're going to dive into it today. And what's been going on for your Friday, man? After work, you getting chilling in, and
Yeah,
how you go?
look, yeah, man. Look, my Friday been okay, you know what I mean? Because yesterday I was off for Veterans Day and stuff like that. So it made this
Sure.
Friday a lot more relaxed because a lot of people took 4 days off instead of, Thursday, then try to come back to work on a Friday. But hey, my Friday's okay. And then hey, when you reached out to me and told me about this brand new show, I was like, you know what? Hmm. I might want to get onto that first. You know what I mean? So I hit you up on Twitter and you got me on here. And it's an interesting topic, all about the offense. And that's one area that the Philadelphia Eagles don't really have a problem with is the offensive side. So I mean, hey, this is gonna be very, very interesting.
Yeah, no doubt. And, of course, for those that haven't seen the last stream that I kind of threw up on my channel, I was in about a 2 month hiatus and relocating from an apartment to an actual house. And that's why my background's different. First time homeowners with Mrs. Endzone and I feels
Congrats.
great. Honestly, it feels great. And I'm still trying to I'm still trying to process it a little bit because it's been quite a long time and living in three different states, and now that I'm in
Wow.
Tennessee, um, you know,
Tennessee.
yeah, yeah. Now that I'm in Tennessee, we finally get the opportunity to get a home here, and it's pretty surreal. It's still warm. It's still warm down here, even though I got my beanie. But but it
But
is what it is. So,
but why Tennessee though? I'm just
um,
curious.
it was for my wife's education.
Okay, all right,
We pursued an opportunity for it, and
got it.
you know, sometimes when they present themselves, you got to take them, even though you move like 8-10
Yep.
hours away from family. Yeah, it gets hard at times, but
But happy wife, happy life, brother. So hey, you gotta keep wifey happy, man. So it's all good. I
well,
respect that.
yeah, a- absolutely. I mean, it's aside from that, it's also it was just also an opportunity for us to be in a different part of the country, and lifestyle and what have you. And it's I can't complain. We've only been here a little over a year, but it'll be 2 years in May, and I'm loving every bit of it so far. So
Nice.
yeah. But enough about that. We gotta get into what you all wanted to talk about with the Eagles and their upcoming matchup against the Denver Broncos over a Mile High. It's gonna be a little. I mean, the players are gonna be a little bit winded with the change in
Yeah.
elevation, and that's one of the small things that you can look out for. But offensively, we've been up and down. Let's call a spade. We've been up and down, and a lot of us have been irritated to the fact that it has taken 8 to 9 weeks into the season for us to finally establish the run game, and wouldn't you know it, Miles Sanders is injured again, so he's not at the forefront to be able to take this opportunity and be like, well, I'm finally getting the football here, and I can make people miss and show off my dynamic skill set. And unfortunately, he's not able to do that again. And I hate it's like a can't say I told you so, but in the beginning of the year, I predicted the over under for Miles Sanders to play this year was going to be about 11, 12 games. I knew he wasn't going to play a full season because, again, he's already going through another ankle injury. He can't seem to get off of it. It always bothers him. And when you pile on consistent injuries like that, it's going to start to get sensitive, and it's going to recur a lot more often. And it's sad, but that's what we've seen of him, especially going into year 3, where okay, well, who's our franchise guy right now at that? Who's our franchise guy now at that running back spot? And Miles isn't here again, but Jordan Howard is making the most of his opportunities once more.
Yeah, he
and
is.
and Sirianni's using him. So, all right. Okay. Offensively, we're hoping that we're going to run the football again.
Facts. Yeah.
The Eagles, believe it or not, our record doesn't show it, but the Eagles are the 11th best offense in football. Weird to say. So, with that said, it's not you're not necessarily seeing that. Well, what's holding them back? Well, it's not exactly the offense. Yeah, there's inconsistencies in the offense with
the defense.
Sirianni at times being too pass happy and what have you.
Yeah.
But they're getting the job done. They're 3rd in the league in turnovers, so Jalen Hurts and company are taking care of the football, something we haven't seen the last couple of years when number 11 was under center.
Facts.
We're still going to take shots here. We're still going to take shots.
Yeah.
Because there is Jalen Hurts haters out there, and well, we're not going to dive deep into that conversation because that's going to add another 30 minutes to the show, guaranteed. We're only 7th. We're 7th in the league in fumbles lost. So again, security, taking care of the football, making smart decisions. First downs. This is where we start to lose ourselves offensively. We're only 20th in the league in first downs. So we're, that's where it comes down to play calling. That's where it comes down to execution. And that's where it comes down to the quarterback making the right decisions or escaping the pocket too early and letting these routes develop and hitting his receivers, or better yet, maybe we're throwing the football too much at times. and that started as early as week 2.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. We started in the Falcons game as balanced as they were, and it's just the ill-had Falcons. That's all we heard. It's just the Falcons. It's just the Falcons. Well, now the Falcons are, I think, 1 game under 500, and now
they're 4-4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And everybody was predicting them to, they're only going to win 3 or 4 games, and they're going to be terrible. But they're hanging in there, especially with them not having Calvin Ridley anymore because he's taken time off of football. But now we're seeing the emergence of Kyle Pitts, and Cordell Patterson is getting Cordell Patterson's looking a little bit better for them. Matty Ice is kind of heating up. That oxymoron to his nickname. but so when we talk about that offense, and now we get into the Broncos defense, and first of all, before we get into talking about their defense, after witnessing what that defense did to the Dallas Cowboys, is that where your concern personally starts in our matchup going to Denver, or was that just like an anomaly, or was that more about Dallas, or was that more about how lethal the Broncos defense potentially is?
Look, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say, "Oh my God!" Like before they played the Cowboys, I was like, "Man, this defense, this is no matchup. Like this is not even a matchup." The Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos won 3 straight. Then they lost 4 straight, and now they won 2 straight. Because they beat the Dallas Cowboys. But at the same time, I was like, okay, it's Teddy Bridgewater. But
Mm-hmm.
then as the game went on, I don't know that they showed up for that game. They showed up for that game. That was their Super Bowl. Because every time anybody played the Dallas Cowboys, hey, this is America's team.
Mm-hmm.
If we could beat them at home, we might be put on the map. So maybe it was the Dallas Cowboys overlooking them, because they do have. I believe this week they have the Falcons. So I don't know how you overlook the Broncos, to the Falcons, but maybe. But I think that they just need to be knocked off their high horse. They lost the first game and they won 6 straight. So they thought that, hey, our defense is good, we're good. But in between that time, then we played no team that was dominant and running the ball game and just a good team. I mean, I'm not saying that the Broncos were a good team, but they came in saying, hey, we're the better team. You are kind of overlooking us. They were 10 points underdogs going into that game.
Yeah.
Like literally that bad. Like Vegas was like, you know what? Pick the Cowboys. These guys are horrible. And they just got rid of Von Miller, like their defensive captain, their heart and soul. Even I was like, what are I was like, man, okay. Hey, that was good for me because I'm an Eagles fan. I'm like, all right, so Von Miller is not going to be here when the Eagles play the Broncos in a couple of weeks. But I didn't think that everybody else would step up. It seems like to me that they have the underdog mentality right now. Say, okay, y'all thought that Von Miller was the guy that was running this train. Guess what? We got more than Von Miller. And Chubb is not even playing yet. So I really think that, man, that this defense is hungry. A lot of young players back up to the backup, but they are out to prove themselves. So I feel like that this defense is for real. It's for real. Like there's no way where you could be sixth in total defense, sixth in rushing defense, eighth in passing defense, second in points per game. You literally are the second best team in allowing and not allowing your opponent to score points. And then there are first and fourth down defense. So I don't see that as a fluke because it's been 9 games now. So they've been doing it for 9 games. We just didn't look at it because they are the Denver Broncos. They are not on primetime TV. You know, they're the team that started 3-0, but lost 4 straight, and now they won 2 straight. So now they're 5-4. So I mean, it's just uh, like I'm really confused about this game. I'm really, really am confused about this game, but I feel like if we could put up more points than them, there's no way that they could put up more points than us.
Yeah, and I mean this is a Broncos. It's a Broncos offense that was only projected to score 13 points
Yeah,
on the
facts.
on the Cowboy on the Cowboys defense. This is a Broncos team that was only projected to score about 13 points. Defensively, they were expected to score about 6. Now, in
Okay.
terms of turnovers, which they did manage to get to, but that's where a lot of the explosion came from in terms of the performance of the Broncos had versus the Cowboys is that if Dallas if Dallas was able to keep their offense on the field a lot more, then of course they're going to be a little more competitive in terms of time of possession.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to give the Broncos extra chances to make this game competitive. The Dallas is going to make them work for it, but of course, when you're going three and out and your run game's not working because Denver is turning you one dimensional and they're telling your quarterback, well, we're going to make you throw it. That's the only way that you're going to beat us. We want you to throw the football. We're going to take your run away. And of course, the
So was that
Broncos.
more about the Cowboys offense and not being able to play any team? Because if they play the Bucks, their defense is horrible. They played let me see, the Bucks, the Chargers, their defense is horrible. So this probably was the best defense that the Cowboys faced. So was it more about the Cowboys offense or the Broncos defense?
I and I still think it was a combination of both. This is Dak has only been back about I think 2 weeks off of a calf issue, and
Yeah.
he just got back from that really bad ankle dislocation and the numbers of surgeries that he had. So
Yeah.
a little bit was he a little bit spooked, to lift off of that leg or what have you? Those kinds of things happen. I mean, we seen number 11 go through that a little bit in 2018 where he started to favor his opposite leg
Yeah.
because of coming back early off of the double ligament tear in his ACL, and then because of that forced focus on the opposite side, that he irritated his back. He had vertebrae issues, and then he only ends up playing, I think, what, like 11 games or so. And so that was very well possible for Dak, but again, Kellen Moore probably didn't help him enough in terms of trying to establish something where the Denver defense only allowed 78 rushing yards on the Dallas Cowboys. So
Yeah.
so team for a Cowboys team that likes to run the football, and for an Eagles team that's very confused on running the football. Well, not as of late, because now all of a sudden it's starting to hit Sirianni, and as we know with
Better late than never. Better
yes,
late than
yes,
never.
yes, it's better late than never. But you know in terms of developing a quarterback, what's the easiest thing that you can do is to allow him to like set in the flow of the run game. Start with the run game, get them comfortable, make the defense
Mhm.
start to guess, keep them on their toes so that when it comes time to throw the football, you have the threat of play action. He can go through his progressions. You're going to have open receivers, which let's not get that misconstrued either. Our receivers are getting open, but because of the lack of a run game, and that inconsistency
And our
hurts
offensive
this
line
receiving arm.
is not the same.
No,
Our
it's
offensive line is not really protecting Jalen Hurts. Like, I mean, just game in and game out. Just literally this past game alone, Jalen
mhm,
Hurts, if any other quarterback besides Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson, would have got sacked 6 times
yeah,
easily, because I saw Joey Bosa come on a like open, just wide open off the edge 2, 3 times. Nobody even touched him, but Jalen Hurts escaped. So I feel like that. With that being said, that our offensive line is not the same, and I'm shocked because Lane Johnson. I know that Brandon Brooks is not there, not yet, but still, I mean, it's like we did a lot better against the Chiefs with all backups besides
mhm,
Kelsey. 4 backups and Kelsey. We did great. And then it seemed like Mariota came back in, and Lane Johnson came back in. But those guys that we thought was the cornerstone of the line, your left tackle and your right tackle are getting beat like game in and game out. And he literally had to escape the pocket. So he doesn't have the time to sit back there and just wait for wide receivers to get open. I promise you, watching this past game, this past Sunday, if Jalen Hurts was any other quarterback, the Philadelphia Eagles would have given at least minimum 4 sacks, maximum 6 sacks.
Absolutely. And, you can compare the sack numbers between Teddy Bridgewater and Jalen Hurts when we're going quarterback to quarterback in this
Yeah.
matchup. Bridgewater has already been sacked 26 times in 9 games. Jalen Hurts, 15. So that is a testament to how good he is already at being able to scramble. Yet, is some of it premature? Absolutely,
Yeah.
of course. But when we talk about that aspect, and we talk about the offensive line, yeah, Brandon Brooks is not there, and and some people may feel like that they can make the case and say that Brandon Brooks was as bad of a loss at one point as Brandon Graham was for the defensive line. Now, that's not necessarily apples to apples, but you get the concept there.
Yeah.
So, with that said, when you talk about guys like Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson, Isaac Seumalo, Lane Johnson, and a little bit of not necessarily Nate Herbig, but throw Jack Driscoll in there.
Yeah.
What do those guys in the trenches have in common? They're big and they have the gift of a special kind of athleticism. Mailata and those guys, they are there to run people over. When is the only chance of them being able to do that? When you establish the run game, when you're pushing them upfield as lead blockers for the running back behind them. They're not necessarily built more times than not to sit there in pass protection. You got to have a combination of both to be able to set not only the quarterback, but the offensive line and keep the system in unison. Too many times that has not happened, and that's why the offense has been up and down, is because of the ever-changing emphasis between the pass and the run. There hasn't been enough of a balance. Only as of late, when we did it against, for what it's worth, the Detroit Lions, and then against the Chargers, who the Chargers are.
It worked.
The Chargers are bottom 4, if not the worst in run defense. So, and granted, we still lost to them by 3, but that's at the hands of the defense more so than the offense.
Yeah.
So now that we've broken down quite a bit here going into this matchup, now I guess it's more of a key to offensive victory instead of defensive victory. You can you can win obviously either on one side of the football or both. So we're going to break it down here, and we're going to have our takes on what we think the offense needs to do in order to win this game.
Okay.
The Denver Broncos defensively, we already know, are very good.
Yeah,
but what they've done, if we don't consider the Dallas Cowboys game, where they scored 30 points, they only mustered 17 against the Washington football team. They only mustered 14 against the Cleveland Browns, which they only gave up 17 to the Browns. They gave up 10 to They gave up 10 to They gave up 10 to Washington. They gave up 17 to Cleveland. The only team that has given the two teams, if you want to count two. The only two teams that have given the Broncos defense trouble up to this point are the Vegas Raiders and Pittsburgh Steelers. They allowed 34 to the Raiders and 27 to the Steelers, to which they only scored 24 to Vegas and 19 to Pittsburgh. So we already know. So by that, we already know that the weakness for Denver is their offense. But
Oh yeah.
but that's not to say that their offense has depth to it. They got a good amount of depth at the receiver position. Yeah, there's not a lot of guys that'll jump off of your screen per se, and like outside of Cortland Sutton, they got Jerry Judy, which Jerry's not Judy
Judy.
doesn't have he doesn't have much behind him as far as yards and receptions. I think he only has about 16 catches, 190 yards to this point, so he's not being used much in the offense. Cortland Sutton is their leading receiver, around similar numbers to Devontae Smith, and then you got KJ Hamler. You got some speedsters.
Tim
Okay.
Patrick showed me a lot. He showed me a lot this past Sunday.
They got some speedsters. Fortunately, and this still may be the case, I don't know if he's still in COVID protocol or not, but the Broncos may not have Noah Fant for this game. It's very well possible. They got quite a laundry list of people from week 10 that either were limited or did not practice. A lot of them are defense that they're losing. Patrick Surtain, he did not practice on Thursday, still dealing with a knee issue. You got offensive linemen, running backs, linebackers. Baron Browning, he didn't because of his.
The whole team is hurt.
So in order for the Eagles to win this game, it needs to be as balanced as possible, of course. And we're talking like a broken record here because this is what we've been wanting ever since 2020 and a little bit of 2019. It wasn't anywhere near as bad because they were trying to feature their rookie running back in Miles, and he was tearing people up. I mean, he was tearing people up, whether it was the run or the pass. And then when you had Jordan Howard before he went down with a shoulder stinger and whatnot. But for this Broncos matchup, we gotta be pretty well balanced. Yeah, we're not going to be able to run the ball. We may still have trouble against this defense the way Dallas did, but that doesn't mean you give up on running the football because of the fact that I think the Eagles' offensive line is better than the Broncos' defensive line. How good are you able to push that front forward to create gaps for Jordan Howard or Boston Scott to go through, and then mix it up a little bit, get Kenny Gainwell out there on a couple of routes, how they're able to utilize him in the red zone. And then once the run's established, we're talking elementary here.
Yeah.
Of course, we're talking elementary. Once that happens, then you go to your receivers because, Kyle Fuller is, they got who is it?
Darby.
Simmons. I mean, he's really the only good secondary player that they have, Justin Simmons. Yeah. He has three interceptions on the year. I think he is your biggest threat in the pass game. I'm not afraid of any of their linebackers. We already know that Von Miller is gone. He's now a Ram. But of course, again, it's like, and it's funny. It's funny because it was a little bit later in the year last season where Jalen Hurts comes in and faces the number one defense in New Orleans Saints. So now we're going into week 10. What are the Eagles made of? And now Hurts gets another opportunity to show what he's capable of as a developing quarterback against the second best defense in excuse me, in all of football. But Sirianni, Shane Steichen, that's your responsibility to help this guy out and give him a run game to lean on. If all goes well and they utilize Jordan Howard, pound him up the middle, whatever they need to do, get the offensive line in a flow, then I think they have a chance to win this game, especially when it comes down to time at the end.
Yeah, facts. Look, Look, I agree with everything you just said. Like the fact is this that this game has to be balanced. It has to be balanced because you are going up against, like I said earlier, the sixth, the sixth rush defense in the league. So they are good in stopping the running game. So now, if a team is good in stopping the running game, the Eagles had averaged what 237 against the Lions, and then 176 against the Chargers. So maybe about 200 yards rushed in the past couple of games, average wise. So do I think that we could rush for 200 yards against this Broncos defense? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And I feel like that we have to be balanced, just like you said. We
Yeah.
have to get the right amount of tight end passes, wide receiver screen to loosen these guys because Denver Broncos, just watching them play, they bring up seven up, right? Like 6, 7 guys up, but then they drop back three of them. So, like, you don't know at any given time who's coming, who's going. So, you have to be balanced. You have to have a good game plan against them. Yes, Anor Fant, he may not play. Who knows? But I think he will play because he didn't play last weekend. Um, but Judy, a speedster. Tim Patrick is as big as a wide receiver that we faced all year. I mean, he showed up and showed out against supposedly one of the best cornerbacks against Diggs, and he got the better of Diggs on
They
Sunday.
just double moved him to death.
Just double move them. You know what I mean? But still, So all these guys were playing up to their potential, like their highest potential. Like they cannot get any higher than that. I seriously think that they came in saying, "Hey, we are at Dallas." It's something about when you play Dallas, regardless of their record, that the team comes in saying, "You know what? This is our best chance to put ourselves on the map." So I'm just hoping that our defense, I know you're gonna talk about defense your next segment. I'm just hoping that our defense just play press and blitz. That's all I gotta say about that. Press and blitz. You cannot play blitz and have people paying off 10 to 15 yards off the wide receivers. It defeat the purpose. So, but as far as the offense go, we have to stick with Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, and Gainwell. I think
Yes.
this will be a Gainwell game. He needs to line up as a wide receiver, like to pull that linebacker away, and maybe Jalen Hurts might have some easy quarterback draws because now you literally put Gainwell out there, Goddard out there, Smith out there, Quez out there, Rager out there. So now you got 5 wides. We seen that last game. So as soon they line up 5 wide, I was like, quarterback draw. I was literally saying it on live. I was like, that's a quarterback draw. There's nobody in the middle. Your guys are, just like you said, are built to run the ball. So as soon as they hike the ball, they go out and just push those guys away. That's an easy quarterback draw right there. So are they going to stick to that? I don't know the game plan. I mean, I'm hoping that Nick Sirianni, just based on this past 2 games, he have done an awesome job. I Yes, I was getting a little bit pissed off last game that the first series or two was throw, throw, throw. I'm like, why? Why? Just
Starting in the
throw.
shotgun again.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, come on, not today. But then the third series, he started running like
Yep.
which happened to be in the second quarter. That's why we dominated the second quarter. The first quarter, the Chargers dominated. The second quarter, we dominated. The third quarter, the Chargers did. The fourth quarter, we did. Besides the last drive of 6 minutes, so it seems like it's quarter by quarter that this guy is like not seeing that. Hey, we need to just stick to the run, which will open up your pass to Goddard, to Smith. Smith was running wide open all game. He was wide open. This was his best game, in my opinion, as a Philadelphia Eagle. Like, he was making some tough catches, but easy catches at the same time. And Hurts was balling out, was delivering them throws on time. So our
Yep.
offense, we need to stick to the run. We need to be more balanced. Last game, I don't think we were a balance at all. I think that we was like 60-40, just based on our success at the run. But this Broncos defense at rushing, at the run defense is a top 6, top 8 rushing defense. So
Yeah.
we definitely have to play our most balanced game of the season in order to leave Mile High with the win.
Yeah. Yeah. And so for reference here, as long as my laptop complies. For reference here, the Eagles have not rushed for more than 100 yards only twice.
What?
If you can believe that. We only had 64 against the Dallas Cowboys and 91 against the Panthers. What do both of those games have in common? We turned the ball over twice.
Facts.
Every other game, we had 100 yards or more rushing. So, like I guess scheme wise, personnel wise, the potential is there. The potential is there. I just don't like that's one thing I don't understand, that the roof is caving in, and that we should look into another quarterback, and Sirianni doesn't know what he's doing. Well, I mean, and you can make of the competition of what you want. We can't help the schedule, but something does seem to be working. But at the same time, there's just some little intricacies that are amiss. Now, I can't say.
So let me ask you a question. So, how do you, like, over the past few games, have you seen a different Eagle offense? A Nick Sirianni, a Jalen Hurts? Are they the same guys that was shown like the first 5 weeks, or are they like, oh my God, this is like a whole different person? The coach is different, the quarterback is different. Have you seen an improvement as the season went on?
I see the team that looked like they did against the Falcons week 1, that they were, that they seemed to have been hitting their groove. They were on all cylinders. Yes. Everything was working. They kept their composure. They were one step ahead of the defense, and that's why we've lost a lot of these games, because we were never able to keep up with the defense schematically. The defense was always one step ahead of us. They knew what we were doing. Predictability, just like the issues that the defense is going through right now for the Eagles in terms of predictability, which, in the second episode tonight, we're going to get to some of those struggles that the Eagles are having. But offensively, I think we know what we have to do. This is an Eagles offense that's averaging almost about 26 points a game. They're capable of putting points on the board.
Yep.
But it's going to come down to the consistency of the quarterback, patience, letting your routes develop and everything, which I think he has a decent grasp of to this point. So, I mean, for reference here, he's only played about 13, 14 games in his career.
This is going to be his 14th game, because last year he played for and this is his 10th game. So,
and that's the irritating part, because people want to give up on him already. Time is money. That's very well true for a lot of franchise. Well, for every single franchise, for every organization, time is money.
Eagle franchise is worse though.
Like, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That point's absolutely true. However, when you continue to hit the reset button on a quarterback, that throws everything else off. Like,
Backwards.
you need
Yeah.
to continue. You need to see the continued development. Is this guy worth
Yeah.
the pick that I invested in him? And you can't find that out in less than a year up to this point. You got to
You
let him
can't.
play out. You got to see where his progress is from year one to year two.
Mm-hmm.
We're quotating, this is in quotations because of the circumstance of 2020. We all know this. But you got to sit back and see the development. At the end of the day, that's what's most important. And Hertz is doing that right now.
Yeah.
Do we not like his foot mechanics, and is he bailing the pocket too early, and yada yada? Sure, he is. But like Eagles fans and JC, before we close this out, let me ask you all this. Would you rather see these issues in a 1 to 2 year quarterback, or would you rather see these issues in a 5 to 6 year veteran franchise quarterback? It's a pretty
I
simple
mean,
answer. I mean,
yeah.
you would rather see this early than too late. A
Is
lot of the
yeah.
things that Hurts is going through right now are coachable, but it has to come down to the patience of the coaching staff and the
Yeah.
patience of the organization to just like look down the road and feel that, you know what, we may be successful with this system, with how this is going at the end of the day. But that comes down to the quarterback and it comes down to the coaching staff. So,
Yeah.
like,
I agree with you if we had the right coaching staff from the jump. Like any young quarterback need to be protected. Like
mhm.
like you need to have a running game. And that's why I picked the Eagles 11-6. I literally picked them 11-6 because just based off this false narrative that Nick Sirianni was selling to the peoples, was selling to the fans. We are going to use our players to their strengths. What is Jalen Hurts' strength? It's to give him a good running game and to use his dual threat ability. But the first 6 games, we wasn't doing that. We was not doing that at all. So we hurt him. So we set him back. So that's why I feel like that I was catfish. I was like, what the hell? This is not what I signed up for. Like you literally told me that you was going to use our guys to their strength, but you're doing the opposite. You had Jalen Hurts throwing 30, 40 times a game.
Mhm.
That's not his strength. So you lied to me. And then on the flip side, with Jonathan Gannon, like you said that you was going to use the same technique, but you have not. So I'm not putting this season on Jalen Hurts at all. Like the past couple games, I'm like, that's the Philadelphia Eagle team that I wanted to see. A run heavy, get him comfortable. I mean, the easy throws with the tight end wide open. Devontae Smith is getting wide open. The past couple games was the type of offense that I've been like waiting for from the jump. But like right now, I mean, is it a little bit too late? I mean, I don't know. And we still have 8 games left, and
Mhm.
we'll see. But it seems like just our offense is getting better. We are adjusting, but our defense is stuck on stupid. Like literally, like you're not making no movement, no nothing. But that's another conversation. But our offense wise, we are making progress. I love what we're seeing right now. I don't care if you run the ball 30, 40 times a game. Like to me, Jalen Hurts rookie year / second year, he should not be throwing no more than 20 passes a game because you are literally trying to get him into the game plan, develop, build his confidence up, and then the following year you up it up to 30 passes a game, and then the following year 40 passes a game, just like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was almost a like, hey, he's a game manager. His first year, he wasn't throwing no more than 20 passes a game. So what is the difference between Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott? Their team wasn't stupid. Their coach was like, you know what? I got this guy in the backfield. We're going to run him to the ground until he died. I don't care. But in the meantime, I'm going to take my time to develop my quarterback for the future. And now Dak Prescott is a guy that could lead a team to a Super Bowl. Like, I hate the Cowboys, but they did the right thing by their quarterback. They took their time. He wasn't the primary focus. Just hand it off, boom, and then 3rd and 5, throw it. Hand it off, 3rd and 5, throw it. Hand it off. Like, he wasn't throwing no more than 20 passes a game his whole rookie year, but they still was winning. That's why people wasn't putting so much emphasis on the Dallas Cowboys, because they were winning. A good defense, a running game will bring you far. The Philadelphia Eagles don't have that. They want Jalen Hurts to throw them to a Super Bowl. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. He's a first-year quarterback. Like, his dual threat ability is dual threat ability for a reason. He's good at, he's great at escaping the pocket, but okay in throwing. But that okay could turn into great and good and throwing if you give him some time. So, yeah. I mean, this 3-6 could easily be 6-3 if we only use our game plan that all the Eagle fans thought we was going to use. A good running game and some decent, I'm not going to say like some genius, but some decent defense of play calling. We probably would have been 6-3.
Well, I could give you 2 games off the top of my head that we should have won that would put us at
the 49ers one. I bet you it's the 49ers one and the Chargers.
Yep, it's the exact same too. Yeah, we're on the same page there. But I'll end it at this. I'll end it at this. When was Dak Prescott drafted?
In 2000, the same year that Carson Wentz was drafted. It had to be the 2015-16 season.
He was a 4th-round pick.
4th-round pick. No pressure on him. Romo was the starter at that time.
Jalen Hurts was projected to be a 4th-round pick. Well, aside from getting picked in the 2nd, sure.
By the Eagles.
The difference is Dak came into an established system.
Exactly.
Established head coach, coordinators, personnel. He had an elite offensive line, elite running game, good enough defense, a good mix of youth and veterans. Exactly. Hurts doesn't necessarily have a lot of that, but it's not a bad thing. It's how you organize what the system is that you're coming into. That's what this team is figuring out right now. So it's not like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
real quick though, see, the only reason is that, do you trust? Look, the Eagle fans will have a lot more patience, but do you trust Howie Roseman? Do you trust? Because that's the only reason why the Eagles fans are on pins and needles right now, because it seems like that he's a snake undercover. He's constantly looking for another quarterback, which will only set us back 2-3 years. I mean, so do you trust Howie Roseman? Because that's the question. That's the only issue. If Howie Roseman say, you know what, Jalen Hurts is our guy, we would just wash this year away. Whatever happened this year happens. He's learning on the fly. That's it. But That's the problem. Howie Roseman is the issue. Like,
I mean, we're it's crazy, man. It's sad. It's sad because we feel that we're just gonna go through the same thing season after season over, over and over again, and that's what everybody's holding their breath about. That, do we trust Howie Roseman with 3 first-round picks at the end of the day? I don't think anybody does.
no.
But you know, to finish this off for week 10 and what we feel the Eagles are capable of scoring against this Denver defense. What is going to be enough to win this game?
24.
That's going to completely vary based on how the defense performs.
Yeah.
We can score as fast as we want, but if we can't rely on our defensive side of the ball to force 3 and outs and to keep the Broncos off the field, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much we score because they're going to go touchdown for touchdown. So I think a good number for us, that'll be enough to beat the Broncos. I'm going to say about 28-30 because I think the Eagles offense is capable of doing that. If we utilize the run game, open up the pass, Devontae Smith, take advantage of the corners with the combination of him, the rest of the receivers, and give Dallas Goedert more targets. I think the Eagles would be in good shape. So I'll say about 28-30 points, and you're at 24.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm at 24 because it's hard for Denver Broncos to score past 17 points. So, I mean, I feel like if we get a lead and then we are putting the pressure on Teddy Bridgewater, that he will kind of turn it over a couple times or just take some sacks. Teddy Bridgewater would not turn the ball over. He's one of those guys that like, nope, I'm just about to go down and hold on to this ball. He's not a risk taker. He's a game manager. So I feel like if we could put up 24 points against the Denver Broncos and start running the ball, that we could literally do some damage. And who's going to cover Devontae Smith? Darby? We had Darby. He bites on double moves all the time. That's why we let him go. So Darby and Fuller, because Surtain, like, he's not going to play. And so now you got Fuller and Darby against, like, speedy wide receivers. That's a bad matchup. So I feel like you are right. Dallas Goedert in the middle. This is his game. Like, in order to stop those linebackers from rushing and blitzing, you need to use your tight ends to keep them honest. So 24 points. I feel like that my prediction for this game, even though I said 27-24, that's my prediction for this game, 27-24, by the way.
Well, and I guess there we have it offensively. With that said, I think we covered everything that we necessarily need to in order to feel that if this Eagles offense is competent enough to take care of a Denver defense coming into this game.
A question for you though. Who would you pick, the Eagles offensive line or the Denver's defensive line? Because that's going to be the key. Like, who's going to win the battle of the trenches right before you go?
Yeah, like I said, it's like I said, the Eagles offensive line, they need to be top notch. That they have to be the ones to control the momentum of this game. And I think this is going to be a game that's either won or lost in the trenches. So at the end,
I agree.
I think.
All right. So, I agree. I'm done, brother.
It looks like we more than killed the 30-minute prediction that we were going to do
good, man.
on offense.
We talking birds, man. We talking birds, man.
It's good, man. Get carried away. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just It's just the way it goes sometimes, man. But of course, for the introduction of Touchdown Talk, I think we killed it for episode one, previewing the Eagles offense against the Denver Broncos defense. Episode two will be coming at you guys at 9 p.m. this evening, where I and Philly Sports Talk Podcast will be going over the Eagles defense against the Broncos offense and what we
Nice.
need to see and not need to see for us to be successful and get a win
Yes,
at
sir.
Mile High. But for myself and Lindy End Zone and J.C. Eagles Talk, I thank you, man, for opening the first episode on my channel with me. We had a hell of a time. Made all the necessary points that we needed to for dissection of this offense to hopefully have success against the Denver Broncos
Yes.
defense. And I appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, look, no problem, man. Anytime you call, I'm there. All right. So, especially if it's about the birds. I don't know about the Dallas Mavericks, but about the birds, I am there, man. You know what I mean? I love talking about the Eagles, man, especially about the upcoming matchup. So, I'm
Yeah.
already putting myself out there for the next episode against the next team, which is the Saints. So just let me know if you want me to come on, and I'll be there against the Saints, and I will be at the game.
There you
At the
go.
Saints game. So I mean, so just let me
Nice.
know, hey, Friday or something, if you want to do a offense, a defense type of thing. Hey, I'm there, man. Yeah, I got you.
Sweet. Good deal. Well, it looks like Touchdown Talk has become a hit on the channel so far for episode one. Again, thank you once more to JC Eagles Talk for opening it up with me and for myself, Lindy End Zone, for the touchdown, taking the lead for the Eagles one video at a time and dropping buckets for the Dallas Mavericks. This has been episode one of Touchdown Talk. We'll catch you guys later. Fly Eagles fly, bleed green.
Go Birds.
MFFLs, go Mavs, go Birds. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Have a good night. As I wait for it to close itself out, StreamYard be bugging. It's a little slow.
Hey, trust me, I
It's telling me
know.
it's telling me an error occurred.
Yeah, yo, I went through the same thing last night because you're still live.